Alright, beginning of the project. Yamaha 200E. Shaft driven, it's a 1983. Seems to be all complete. Everything is here. Original. Biggest issue is we're completely locked up. Throttle stuck also, so that's going to be a project. None of the brakes are working. A lot of surface rust, but other than that, integrity of the frame, that all seems to be in good working order. Muffler's just surface rust too, but doesn't look like it's got any holes in it or anything like that. So this one is gonna be a project. 3 tires. One front tire is really bad, cracked. This tire, you can feel air coming out. Sidewall is cracked, but the other tire is good. I aired it up this morning when I picked it up, and it's holding air. Does have oil in it. So we've got some oil, so we're not dry. Yeah. It's got a lot of gasoline in it, so it definitely smells like gas. So the fuel line completely disintegrated on it. Fuel line over here is just, it's gone. So gonna be some work to do with that, but seems to shift okay. So start tearing into it. Petcock is completely frozen. So this thing set, it was my grandpa's. He bought it new in 1983, and I don't even remember him having this. But they're clearing out some of his machinery, and this was shoved in the back of one of the barns. So now will be my project, see if we can get it going again. I'm guessing it's not ran somewhere between 25 and 30 years. So we'll see if we can get it going. If not, it'll be a fun little project. I'll learn some stuff on. Not done a lot with ATVs, but he had a 1990 Yamaha Big Bear that it set for 10 to 12 years, and I just got it running and had a lot of fun. So decided to take on another little project and either get it running and have another toy, or learn along the way, learn a little bit more about them. And if nothing else, I would think since it's complete, plastics are in pretty good shape, they should clean up all right, that it ought to have some sort of resale value as a parts bike. So, but we'll work on it a little bit today and start to tear into some things. I'd like to get some oil down the cylinder and see if we can free up that piston. Hopefully it's just set seized. I don't think it's that he ran it hot or anything like that to where he's welded it inside the cylinder. But this three-wheeler, I heard the story on it. It did get stolen for a little bit and was recovered. So kind of interesting with that. But well, start doing a few things. I'm sure the airbox is full of mouse nest and mouse poop, so get some of those things cleaned out today and get kind of a preliminary look at it and see what we'll be working with. Alright, so I am missing the bolt that goes there. There's a latch under here that you pull. And the whole seat and back fender comes off, which looks like it's going to be pretty nice and easy to work on. Alright, I'm expecting this to be very gross. I did pick up a set of screwdrivers on Amazon for this that are the JIS tipped screwdrivers. I stripped a few on the Yamaha Big Bear because what I learned is the tips are a little bit different. So these shouldn't cam out or strip those like a regular Phillips does. That is gross. Wow. That's nasty. Yeah. Get that cleaned up and hopefully there's not one still in there that's gonna pop out. Yeah, there's nothing left of that air filter. I don't know if I want to do this or not. Okay, that is disgusting, but I'll go get the shop vac and clean that out. Alright, next, the spark plug out. See if we can get a little oil down there. Should be a 18mm socket. Yep. NGK D7EA. I'll pick it up or not, but looks like it was running pretty good. There is a little bit of yeah, there's some surface rust around that plug, so there's definitely been moisture down in here. The recoil off and see maybe something's just bound in there. Don't look too bad. Well, we figured out not the recoil. All right, well, probably take the top of that throttle cable assembly off. Take a look in there, and we're probably just going to need to let this soak and cross fingers that that Marvel Mystery Oil frees up the piston. I am guessing that this carburetor is going to be in real rough shape, but made in Japan, so the original carburetor, so that's good. So hopefully it can be salvageable, and probably order some new jets, maybe a rebuild kit for it. But you know, the big thing is going to be trying to get this motor unseized. Alright, back with the three-wheeler. It's been soaking for about 3 days with the Marvel Mystery Oil, the WD-40, and I threw some PB Blaster in it too. I tugged on it a few days ago, and the rope still felt pretty tight, so I didn't do anything with it. I did it off camera to mess with it. I thought it was going to be stuck, but I took the recoil off and the little nut that's on there, which is a 17mm nut. I turned it a little bit and it broke free. I thought it was going to take a lot more persuasion with that, but I made an absolute mess, got it all over the place. Knew it was going to happen. I just didn't. I thought it was going to be stuck and I'd have a little more time to do it, but we now have a free cylinder. Compression feels pretty decent, so I have a limited time to work on this, and it's going to go into storage for a few weeks until I can get back around to it. So goal today is I'm going to get that gas tank off and to try and get the carburetor free so I can leave that here at the house, and when I get an hour here and there, I can kind of work on it. So most of these fuel lines are just so old, they're breaking. Pulling it up through the frame like that didn't help, but probably about every fuel line in here is going to need replaced. Alright, I'm not even sure what parts I have left out here at this point. I've been just sporadic working on this today. I finally got the choke out of the carburetor. It was stuck in there like crazy. I put ATF down there, WD-40, and finally PB Blaster, and I finally just pulled with enough force that if I broke the cable, I was going to break the cable, and it finally came loose. So the slide is still stuck in the carburetor. So I think what I'm going to do now is try and get the bowl off of the bottom and see. I think the needle is stuck somewhere in there. Maybe the entire slide is seized. I put more PB Blaster around the slide, so we'll see what works on freeing it up. But Everything is just stuck on this thing. Alright, there's one loose, two loose, three, and four. I don't know if these were just maybe they're actually weren't tightened down like crazy, or if it's this JIS screwdriver, but last Yamaha I had to cut two of these screws, cut the slot in it to where you can use a flathead screwdriver to get them out. These came out a lot better. What's on there? Alright, so let's do a little more tapping. Oh man. That's bad. I have not torn into a lot of carburetors, but for anybody that has, I'm sure this may be towards the top of the list for worst carburetors. So I think I'm gonna get a ultrasonic cleaner and we'll see what that does. There's some that looks like pieces of the gasket, so definitely have a new gasket in my future. Well, I've got a lot of, I don't even know, scrubbing, scraping, a lot of work to get this thing into pieces where we can even try to let the ultrasonic cleaner help it out. All right, and here's a segment of things I should probably not do and will regret later. I'm gonna take a punch and see if I can get this pin started. It holds the float in. If I miss and tear up those ears, this carb is done for. So I need to find something to try and support the bottom of this. All right, I would be wise to let the PB blaster I sprayed on it maybe have some time to work, so try that again later. All right, I just experimented with using a screwdriver to kind of turn that slide up, and it seems to be making a little bit of progress. So moved a little bit. So we'll try a little more PB blaster and Holy cow. I cannot believe how stuck that thing was in there. Wow. So I'll have to sand that down some. Put it in, it's just got varnish all over it. Okay. Whew. Nuts. I did chew, kind of prying a little bit, as gentle as I could with the screwdriver. I kind of chewed that up a little bit, so hopefully I'll have to kind of relieve the edges there. Hopefully that won't make a big deal. Alright, carburetor is free from the machine finally. So I finally got the carb off. I just had to just pull and pull and pull and finally got that slide free. So got it all disassembled. It's got a lot of gunk build up. Looks like all the jets are just completely clogged. So a friend let me borrow their ultrasonic cleaner. We'll see how this works, and I'll probably end up buying one if I like it. I got some Simple Green HD. This says it's safe for metals, does a rust inhibitor and or corrosion inhibitor, and lists engine cleaning as one of the uses. So we'll see how that does, but I'm going to put them in this little smaller dish so I can make the cleaner go long way, but it looks like it's like a 1-to-3 ratio. So we'll throw them in, see how it goes. All right, so the carburetor's clean and I'm ready to start reassembling it. Very impressed with the ultrasonic cleaner, how clean that got. So I've gone through, I've chased every port with carburetor cleaner. I've taken one of these inexpensive little carburetor cleaning rods, made sure all the ports are open and ready to start reassembling. I did buy a very cheap carb rebuild kit off of eBay. Cheap, I'm talking like $9. And I really, all I bought it for was the gasket and the O-rings, and just to have some extra parts. But like every cheap kit, they're the jets and everything, I don't think they're even usable. The threads don't quite match up. I checked the main jet, it's not marked, but the opening is a little different size. The pilot jet, the threading is different on it. So like I said, I'm going to use the O-rings. I am going to use the needle and the seat from it, but I'm going to go through and replace all the O-rings, then I'll come back when it starts the reassembly. Alright, got the O-rings replaced now. Just trying to match them up best by size and start reassembling the carburetor. Yeah, already running into trouble. This little clip doesn't want to quite go around the new seat. Just a little out of spec. But we go around the old seat perfect. So may have to go back to the old seat. Yeah, we'll try that. I really would like to use this new seat. So we'll keep going with this and hopefully it'll work out. Nothing needs to be super tight in this. So let's go Pilot Jet next. Put that in just where I can see the detent comes back. So that's the idle adjust part. So when you put the slide back in, you've got to make sure the bigger part is what goes over the detent from this idle adjust screw. Okay. Ready now for the float. And like I said, I'm using that new float. It's got the rubber tip on it. The old one still had the original metal tip in there, so I went with a new one. I figured there's a reason why all the carburetors have switched to that style. sure that's got good free movement. Get our fuel adjusting screw back in, so it's spring and then metal washer, and then the O-ring. When I disassembled this, I was missing the O-ring, so not sure where that ended up, but I'm gonna set it in all the way till this screw bottoms out. When I took this out, it was about 1 1/8 turn out. I don't know if any of that is affected by the missing O-ring. The manual states that it's 1 to 2 turns out, so I think I'm going to go about 1 1/2 to start. There's half, 1 1/2. That's something that seems to be fairly easily adjustable, even when it's reassembled to put back on. Alright, next I've got this little washer. Set that on. And then bowl and the bowl gasket. I'm going to let gravity be my friend. Set that on what would be the top of the carb. And then line that back on. Got my 4 screws. Gonna torque them down super tight. The O-rings definitely need replaced. This one was pretty well flat, so got a new one for it. And then on the needle, it was set to the very top. I bumped it down one. We'll see if that makes a difference or not. It should be pretty easy to adjust, even after I get it back on the machine if I need to. We are, for the most part, reinstalled and ready to go back on the 3-wheeler. Slide moves free again, a lot better than it did before we took it off. So that will wrap it up for this part. We're going to call the carburetor reassembled and ready to go back on the three-wheeler. Alright, back with the Yamaha three-wheeler. Another project I was working on hit a roadblock, so brought this in and see what I can get done today. Big goal is get the carburetor back on and then try and hook up a battery pack and see if any of the lights work, if we have anything, see what we're working at, and maybe get around to testing compression, see if we have that. So limited time again today, so we'll just plug away and see what we can get done. I'm real curious see what year this battery is. Pretty swollen. Looks like it's marked 5/8 of 26. Maybe that's a 2005. Not sure what. It's a Champion battery, so but yeah, definitely gonna need a new battery. I don't think there's any saving that one. Okay. Do have a neutral light. Hey, it's kicked my rag out in the intake boot, and sounds like the starter's kicking over. Okay, well, that's encouraging. May make more progress than I thought we would today. So next, I think I need to got another gasket for the carburetor, that slide. I thought one of the O-rings in the kit was for the choke, but it's not going to match up. And that one's in rough shape. So I may need to try to figure out an O-ring for that before we put it back in, but encouraged by what we see so far. I think the next thing I'm going to do is take this switch apart. Some of the stuff is feeling pretty stuck and gummy in there, so take a look at it and get some WD-40 in it. The camera picks that up. Definitely could use a little attention. Alright. You can get a light to come on. Still no light. There's a headlight. Okay, in there, I need to tighten everything out, and I need to go get all the air cleaner tubes. They're out in the shed, so I need to go get those and we'll reinstall. Well, the air box stuff is installed. I'll check for spark next. Just a little bit of this back. Make sure we got some good wire showing. Try first with the old plug. I did get a new plug for it, but we'll see what this one's got. Alright, not seeing any spark. Let's try the new plug. Hopefully that one's just fouled. Alright, not seeing any spark. So, figured things were going way too easy today, so start diving into this. Well, one of the issues may have been I still had the kill switch on. See if that changes things. And I doubt this camera is going to pick it up, but I've got some spark. So we'll see if that's enough to get it started. Alright, got some gas in this. Let's see if it'll kick over. that lucky on the first try. I did a compression read and it was low. It was like, I don't think it was above 80. So I'm gonna put a little oil down here and we'll take another reading. See if the reading goes up. Throttle open. And that's maybe around 80. So that got us up to 130, so we went significantly higher there. Yeah. About 130 again. That's with oil in the cylinder, so may have a ring issue. All right, back to the drawing board. So tried a few more things and still no luck. I took the chain cover off, got it to top dead center, timing is on, took the valve inspection plates off, intake valve was good, exhaust valve was a little too tight. So I put that back in spec and tried again. I wasn't hopeful that would work, and it did not. So, as I thought with this three-wheeler, we get it run, have some fun with it, or learn along the way. And we're definitely going to be learning along the way. So I've got to put it up. I'm out of time for today. But next time I get back to it, I have a feeling we're going to be tearing down the top end, see if we can get to the cylinder, see what the rings look like, see if that's where the issue is. I suspect that's where we are with the different compression readings. But that's all I've got for now, so lot of encouraging things today. We've got spark. Electrical seems to be working. So positives, and then still got the project to get it going. All right, so I decided to try one more thing and put a little bit of starting fluid into the carb, and see if it'll do this again. All right, progress. Yeah, we'll keep messing with this, see if we can get it tuned in.